We've talked about what the shadow is, how it hijacks your life through projection and self-sabotage, and the masks you wear to hide it. But here's the honest truth. All that knowledge means nothing without action. Understanding your shadow intellectually is like reading a map of a foreign country. Integrating it is actually booking the flight and stepping off the plane. Integration is the real work, the courageous, terrifying, and ultimately liberating act of turning toward the parts of yourself you've been running from your entire life. Today we're moving from theory to practice. We're taking that first step into the darkness, not to fight it, but to reclaim the gold hidden within. So what does shadow integration actually mean? Let S be clear. It doesn't mean acting on every dark impulse or letting your inner monster run wild. It's not an excuse to become a jerk. Shadow integration is the process of bringing what's unconscious into your conscious awareness. It's about looking at the parts of yourself you've denied, the anger, the selfishness, the neediness, and saying, yes, this is also me, without judgment. The moment you acknowledge these parts, their secret power over you starts to fade. It's a fundamental paradox of the human mind. What you resist persists. The more you deny a part of yourself, the more it controls you from the shadows, erupting when you least expect it. But the instant you turn and face it, its grip loosens. By accepting your darkness, you actually diminish its destructive power. Of course, this work is terrifying. Your shadow contains everything you believe makes you unlovable or bad. Your ego has spent a lifetime building walls to keep this stuff locked away. Shadow work is you voluntarily walking up to those walls with a hammer. It requires immense courage to ask, what if I'm not just the good person I pretend to be? What if I'm also selfish or weak or aggressive? You're choosing to see your whole self, not just the polished Instagram-ready version. So how do we start? Step 1 is the mirror method. Notice your projections. Pay close attention to who triggers you. When you feel intense judgment, disgust, or moral superiority towards someone, stop and ask, what quality in them am I reacting to so strongly? Then the real question, where does even a tiny percentage of that quality exist in me? If you can't stand selfish people, where have you been selfish but called it something else? If you judge needy people, what are your own unmet needs that you refuse to acknowledge? The people you judge are holding up a mirror to your own disowned parts. Step 2, excavate your childhood. Your shadow was formed when you learned which parts of you were acceptable and which were not. What emotions were you not allowed to show? Anger? Sadness? Joy? What traits were shamed? Were you told you were too loud, too sensitive, or too ambitious? These are the first pieces of yourself you banished. Understanding where the exile began helps you understand why these parts feel so dangerous to reclaim. Step 3 is to dialogue with your shadow. This isn't as strange as it sounds. Through journaling or just quiet reflection, speak directly to these rejected parts. I see you, the part of me that's angry. What are you trying to protect? Or, I see you, the part that feels weak. What do you need from me? Listen for the answers. You'll often find these dark parts have been trying to help you in distorted ways. Your anger was trying to set a boundary. Your selfishness was a desperate cry for self-care. This leads to step 4. Reframe bad as exiled. The parts in your shadow aren't evil. They're just natural human energies that were labeled unacceptable. Anger isn't bad. It's information. Laziness isn't bad. It's your body signaling a need for rest. When you shift your perspective from, I'm bad for feeling this, to this part was exiled but has a purpose, you open the door to integration. Finally, you have to practice embodied acknowledgement and contained expression. Feel the anger in your chest without lashing out. Feel the sadness in your throat without swallowing it. This proves to your nervous system that you can handle these feelings. Then give them a safe outlet. Angry? Hit a pillow or write a furious letter you never send. Feeling creative but told it was a waste of time? Sketch for 10 minutes with no goal. This channels the energy constructively. When you stop fighting your shadow, a profound transformation occurs. The anger you feared becomes healthy assertiveness. The selfishness becomes necessary self-care. The neediness becomes vulnerable connection. You don't become darker, you become whole. This is lifelong work. It's a continuous practice of bringing yourself into the light. But with every step, you become more real, more free, and more compassionate. You learn that you contain multitudes, light and dark, and that wholeness isn't about being perfect, it's about being complete. Thanks for watching.